history, we've seen communism and socialism talked about by governments and by, I guess, programs, but we never actually read the actual theory. And what theorists all agree on is that socialism would be a transitionary state between capitalism and communism, where the means of production are specifically owned by workers, not privately. The idea that any country now is anywhere near socialist, let alone communist, would simply be ridiculous, and just it wouldn't reflect theory whatsoever.
What is the definition of communism to you?
Stateless, moneyless, classless society.
And you prefer that?
Yeah, so I think that we should be moving towards,
communism.
Yeah, stateless, moneyless, classless society.
So
yeah.
you don't think a person like me should exist with the amount of wealth that I have?
Yeah, because I think that we're getting to this point where we're creating fake scarcity for people like you to accumulate the wealth that you have on the basis of private ownership.
Okay, so you're not even not capitalist. You're definitely not capitalist. You're not socialist. You want to go full communism. So
what do you think that looks like, though, is the thing, right? So what Marx actually wanted was for us to reach a point where we no longer have the scarcity of resources that has kind of predicted, history as it looks like now. It wouldn't happen now. Right. It would happen as we automate. At this point in time, we can decommodify housing and food and education for around 5% of the government budget. That's 1/5, a little bit over 1/5 of what we spend on the military already. We don't, because we were living in the state where it almost seems utopian that things like food and shelter.
How old were you the first time you thought you wanted to be a communist? How old were you the first time?
Is that a response to any of the statistics?
No, because the statistics are against you.
The statistics,
it's never worked. There's so many Cubans that moved to Miami. They love their country. They hate the politics. In Russia, they even run away from communism because it didn't work. It killed so many people.
Almost like it wasn't communist.
It's almost amateurish
yes,
to
there
debate
was.
a communistic
yes,
argument.
There was. It's almost like you're not replying to any of the statistics that I've presented to you. I think that's the biggest problem.
You're a dictator telling me what dreams
Dictators would not be
should
allowed under communism.
Dictators end up, of course, running communism.
But they weren't.
If somebody is taxing 100%, what is a dictatorship?
So again, how much money do you think?
How much money taxes? What is communism?
How much money do you think?
Dictatorship.
How much money do you think would it take to, I don't know, allow everyone food, shelter, water, and education in this country?
How much money would it take?
Yeah.
But going back to your question here with communism, stay on that point there with communism.
Nothing I say is responding
but
to.
I'm trying to find out from you here. You're saying communism is not dictatorship.
No.
Define dictatorship.
Yeah, so when one person or one small entity, is able to, enforce its will on the people. When we have a private ownership, when we have a system based on private ownership, that's what happens every single time.
That's dictatorship.
Yeah, so we
dictatorship is private ownership.
Yeah, so private.
So let me get this straight. Under communism, under communism, doesn't Elon Musk exist?
Yeah, no.
No, so that's dictatorship. Thank you.
That's completely incorrect. Under capitalism, we don't have, the freedom for people to.
You do.
Okay,
of course you do.
Under capitalism, right? We don't see that the commodification.
Would you consider China communism right now? Would you consider China communism right now?
Shelter or water or education when we can with 5% of the budget. Why don't we see that?
Would you consider China communism?
Why haven't you answered any of my questions?
Would you consider
Why haven't you responded to any of my statistics?
Would you consider China communism?
It's almost like we're not having a conversation and you're
talking
at me and not with
We are having a conversation where you have an argument that's been proven that it's not worked.
It's almost like I just gave you a definition of communism for you to critique and you haven't been able to.
If it's such a great system, why are other nations not?
It hasn't happened yet because we've never been at a point for it to happen.
Because we've not found a noble person that can do it the right way that's not a dictator.
If you were to read the plain text of Marx, we would see that he wanted us to reach.
I've read Communist Manifesto. I've gone through it.
I promise you, if you have, you wouldn't have said that capitalism today is socialist.
Have you read Wealth of Nations?
Yeah, so I've read Das Kapital, I've read the Communist Manifesto as well, Engels' Collective Works, etc. What do you think, if you think that communism is in any way us having wages or us having, a privatized means of production, you don't know what it is.
You choose my dreams, and I refuse to do that.
Who are you arguing with?
Dictate my
Where did you get that from?
What do you mean?
Well, that was interesting.